It's like completely diminishes my whole entire like livelihood, being like, podcasting? He asked me what I did and I was like, podcasting? He's like, that's your qualification? That's how you make your money? Sir, how do you make your money? Berating women? Being a narcissist?
Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. So Kody Brown being on Special Forces right now, if you're not watching it, is truly something else. He's actually one of the most physically fit people on the show, which is kind of shocking. But honestly, when your entire routine seems to be chopping wood, working out, and yelling at women, I guess you're bound to have the stamina to climb mountains and get your butt handed to you on a show like Special Forces. Now, Kody's physical fitness isn't what's bothering the rest of the cast. It's his personality. Some of them have been very open about how they feel about him. Bree, one of the contestants, recently shared that Kody completely dismissed her career. She's a podcaster, and when she told him that, he scoffed, saying, "Oh, that's your qualification? You're just a podcaster, classic Kody. Zero respect for people in media. Maybe that's why he never goes on podcasts himself. Although, give it time. He'll probably start one when he's out of other options." Bree relaunched her own podcast recently and had even more to say about Kody, about who he is, how he treats people, and her overall impression of him. Most of the cast had no idea who Kody was going into the show. Unless you're into Sister Wives or reality TV drama, he probably wasn't even on your radar. So Kody had the perfect chance to reinvent himself and play the poor me second chance card. But not everyone bought it. Bree said that before she knew who he was, she honestly thought something was off with him. Like he lacked social cues, or maybe had some kind of disability. She said she even felt bad being mean to him because she thought, you can't be rude to someone with special needs. But after learning who he was and how horribly he's treated women, she realized, nope, he's not slow. He's just mean and completely self-absorbed. Meanwhile, Gia Giudice interviewed another Special Forces cast member, Robbie Patel, an actor who tried to stay diplomatic about Kody. Robbie mentioned that Kody's backstory was interesting and hinted that Kody shared stories about growing up in a fundamentalist home, possibly even hinting at past abuse. But Robbie also said that during their very first challenge, Kody was acting like a total maniac, sprinting up and down the hill, carrying heavy bags, and outpacing even professional athletes. Robbie admitted his first thought was, this guy has to be on something. He said, I'm in great shape, but Kody was flying past me like a cartoon. I thought he must have just done meth. He wasn't kidding. He described Kody as having the wild, unstoppable energy of a 12-year-old boy who blurts out every thought in his head and gives everyone unsolicited advice. And honestly, that tracks. Fans have been speculating for years about whether Kody's on some kind of substance, testosterone, growth hormones, amphetamines, or snow. But it might not even be that. His energy, his erratic mood swings, and his constant rage could all just be part of his narcissism. Narcissists feed off attention and control. They literally get high off the energy they take from others. So when Robbie described Kody as childlike and filterless, that fits perfectly. Narcissists often have no empathy and no concern for how their words affect people. Kody's been that way for years. Cruel, manipulative, impulsive, and completely self-centered. So yeah, imagine being stuck living next to that 24/7, endless verbal diarrhea, constant bragging, and unsolicited wisdom. Robbie might have said Kody meant well, but even he admitted he didn't have to sleep next to him, which probably explains why his experience was slightly more tolerable. Exactly. And that's the thing. The people who were closest to Kody ended up having the hardest time with him because they saw firsthand how he really treats people. Brianna, for instance, said that Kody was incredibly dismissive toward women throughout filming. During challenges, he never stopped to think about how his actions affected the rest of the team. Sure, he might have been one of the strongest physically, but teamwork wasn't in his vocabulary. Everything was about him looking the best, doing the most, and outshining everyone else. Completely self-centered and only motivated by his own ego. And then there was Jussie Smollett, who also spoke about Kody when he went on Gia's podcast last week. Jussie described meeting Kody and how their interaction immediately rubbed him the wrong way. When they were first introduced, Kody asked his last name, and when Jussie said Smollett, Kody repeated it back mockingly, "Oh yeah, Jussie Smollett." Later, when Jussie watched the episode back, he saw Kody mutter under his breath and laugh, saying, "Haha, second chances," clearly taking a jab at Jussie's past. That moment says everything about Kody's narcissism, his smug sense of superiority, his complete lack of empathy, and his habit of tearing others down to make himself feel powerful. Sure, Kody never faked a hate crime or did time in prison like Jussie, but that doesn't mean his record is clean. He spent decades skirting accountability, openly breaking laws on TV, and living within a polygamous sect that has harmed countless people, including his own family. What's really unsettling is that most of the Special Forces cast had no idea who Kody Brown even was. Everything they learned about him came directly from him, and because they didn't know better, they took it all at face value. They assumed he was being genuine, never realizing how calculated and manipulative he really is. And that's where people like Kody are dangerous. He's now being introduced to a whole new audience that doesn't know the years of chaos, abuse, and destruction he's left behind. The physical abuse, the financial control, the psychological and verbal torment. There's an entire trail of broken relationships and emotional wreckage spanning more than 20 people in his immediate circle. Yet on this show, he's being framed as a man seeking redemption, a phoenix rising from the ashes, trying to turn his life around and start over. But anyone who's seen his pattern knows better. Narcissists are masters of reinvention. The moment they burn down one world, they simply move to another, craft a new persona, and start the cycle all over again. Kody isn't being reborn, he's just rebranding himself for a fresh audience that hasn't seen the damage yet. You know, I'm not a psychologist, but honestly, Kody comes across as sociopathic in the way he's completely reinventing himself, like he can just erase the person he's been for decades and expect everyone to accept this new version of him. It's as if he believes he can rewrite history simply by acting like a different man. And disturbingly, some people actually buy into it. Take Gia, for example. Sweet Gia. She said, "I just think he misses his kids and being a dad. I think he only lives with one of them." But no, Gia, that's not the story. Kody didn't lose his kids. He pushed them away. He's emotionally, verbally, and financially abused them, neglected them, and then publicly smeared them on national TV. He's painted them as villains, unsafe, unstable, and cruel, when in reality, he's the one who's been unsafe, unhinged, and abusive for years. What's frightening is how easily people who don't know his history can be fooled by him. It only takes a few people to buy into this new Kody narrative for him to rebuild his public image and start another chapter in the spotlight. Meanwhile, behind him lies a trail of damage, broken relationships, emotional wreckage, and countless people left hurting. It's the same pattern we've seen for years. Once one world burns down, Kody just packs up and moves on to the next one. Sister Wives blew up. He became the villain, lost public sympathy, and was drowning in backlash. So what does he do? He jumps into another reality show like Special Forces, hoping for redemption, chasing a new fan base, and pretending to be a changed man. But underneath it all, he's still the same manipulative, self-serving person. True change doesn't happen through PR rebranding. It happens through accountability, humility, and repair, things Kody has never been capable of. If he truly wanted to change, he'd start by making amends with his kids, owning up to what he's done, and doing the hard emotional work to rebuild trust. But he won't, because real change requires empathy, and that's something Kody simply doesn't have. This constant reinvention, these calculated attempts to fool the masses, it's classic sociopathic behavior. Brianna said it best. If she had known who Kody really was, she would have called him out much harder for the way he treated her and others. And she's right. Most women who meet him can see straight through the charm and the manipulation. Men, on the other hand, often excuse his behavior, maybe out of that bro code mentality, or because they don't experience his cruelty the same way women do. But the pattern is obvious. Kody uses people, discards them, then reinvents himself for the next audience. So if you're new to all this, don't be fooled by the act. Kody Brown is not a misunderstood dad trying to rebuild his life. He's a master manipulator who thrives on control and reinvention. And if America somehow turns him into a redemption story hero, that would be truly disturbing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, besties. See you next time.